So when we were doing Red Hood season 1, I knew that it was all building to this big like climactic battle. Like we wanted to have Red Hood be shot into, you know, a different dimension, and there's like this portal jumping, and there are all these different characters. And the original idea was we would have alternate Robins, like a couple alternate Robins, come to our dimension, and then they would just kind of wreak havoc, and that's kind of the way it was. The idea sort of developed into Red Hood being shot into a multiverse and going to visit all these different things after we had become friends with a ton of different cosplayers and people who were like internet personalities and that kind of thing. And it was like, oh man, if we really want season 2 to like take off and be this cool thing, like really exciting thing, why not just utilize everybody that we have? And so when we were writing the scripts and taking the time, we said, okay, how can we incorporate these people in a really cool way? And so the idea came about that maybe Jason's just flying through universes, and there's a Arkham Knight universe, and then there's a, you know, Power Rangers universe, and a universe that's like our universe, but it's in the future, and that kind of thing. And it ended up being really cool. Take one.
I was like, I had this thing where I was
smashed
like,
on my
were
finger.
my headphones on? I couldn't hear that. It was like the stupidest.
Rolling.
Rolling.
Clapping.
We react to the suit, and then, like, right after it, all right, Brad, I'm coming for you.
Oh, okay.
Are you actually rolling?
Yeah.
When we were launching the Kickstarter, we knew we wanted the money to go to set pieces and traveling places and working with people that we would never normally get to work with. You know, when we went to Los Angeles, it was fun because we were hanging out at WonderCon, and we got in for free because we were on a panel and that kind of thing. But it was one of those things that you look at that stuff and you think, how could this work out? You know, how could this work? And it just did, and everybody gelled so well, and it was super cool.
Oh,
Water bottle. One more time.
almost.
And 3, 2, 1, action.
So when we went to do the first episode, we had actually shot the first episode third in line. So we shot the second episode in Orlando first, and then shot the third episode second, which was in Utah with the Ninja Kids, and then the first episode third, and then the fourth episode was kind of like a mishmash of all different things, and so was the fifth episode. So it was just this really cool thing where we eased into it with like a really heavy episode, then a really comedic episode, and then the rest of the episodes. So we were able to kind of get all of those really intense emotions out at the beginning. So we really knew our characters, and we were really kind of into our characters by the time we were going to do the rest of the episodes, which was super cool.
Huh! Did the owls kidnap you too? Can we restart that?
Yeah.
Are you gonna repeat everything I said?
Almost.
I didn't name him.
Right. Damien, you take the right. R2T. Oh, crap.
I loved having Cameron and Spencer back as Damien and Tim Drake, respectively. They are fantastic, and they work so hard, and they're so cool, and those kids are just so much fun to be around.
Okay, cut.
I'm the son of the Batman.
I got his leg like slowly inching away.
Action.
How are you so adequate?
It's definitely from.
Keep going. And they work their butts off.
Come in when you're ready. Tried to improvise there, it did not work.
Oh my gosh, he is so good.
That wasn't the best it could be, but I think it was pretty good.
I think one of the most interesting things, and maybe a funny thing, is Madden in the mask, in that owl mask. It is way scarier, like way creepier than I was expecting. And we shot in this like medical facility that was closed on the day that we shot there, because we rented out the whole place. And there were like certain hallways, like you guys have probably seen the pictures on Instagram of like, there's just like a lonely wheelchair, and then it's like this medical facility with all these shadows and like not all the lights are on, and Madden's there with like this owl mask. It legit looks like a horror movie. So it was funny to me because it was just so, it was so much scarier than I expected it to be. And I guess it's just, you know, creepy kid in a mask. That's the whole thing. I was actually super impressed by all of the cosplayers, especially because actors, that's what we do. You know, we get scripts all the time and we read them and you try to memorize them and they come out and you try to be the character. But the cosplayers, they worked so hard trying to create these characters and be these characters. And I was just so impressed by how hard all of the cosplayers worked and really pushing into their characters and becoming these incredible characters.
Here, punch me.
2, 1, hard, action!
My bad. That was my fault. Just go into it. All right.
So for me, I think one of the most exciting things about working on a show like this is seeing like the community, the comic community, the cosplay community be so excited about this thing. And you go to Comic-Cons and people like adults, little kids, anybody, they just get so excited and they're like, oh yeah, oh, it's Red Hood, like in general for cosplayers. But then when they know about your show and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, you're that guy, you know, and then people get really excited. They take photos with you and it's like, it's super cool. And I love that. And it's not from like a fame standpoint. It's more from like you're just making someone's day that much better. And that's what I really love. So you guys would never know this. Stop blowing your nose, Lewis! The original idea was we wanted to have Nadav, his Redbird cape, be like super long, like Superman style long, Man of Steel long. And so it was only probably 3 or 4 inches off of the ground. What I didn't anticipate was anytime he like leaned backward and stepped backward, he would like step on it and like almost fall backwards, which is not great. But okay, it wasn't even mid-fight scene. It was the end of the fight, okay? The very end of the fight. It was like the last 2 shots or something like that. He's hitting me, blah, 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 and then steps back and just rips the cape off.
Cape.
And it was okay because we had gaff tape. Thankfully, we had gaff tape. So we gaff taped the cape back on, and you can actually see it in a couple shots. If you look really close, you can see the little like gaff tape lines where the cape is on there. Nadav is a little star. He's a star, man. He's so good. And I feel so grateful and so blessed that they're excited about the show and they love doing it. Nadav has that ability. He has that acting ability and it's natural, you know? And so I cannot wait for you guys to see some of the stuff that we have planned. We have some crazy stuff planned with these guys and it's gonna be really cool.
What is this for? That's one more time. I'll get it. Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Listen, it's been too long since our last sheet. I've not practiced. Well, your hands go at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Our crew is fantastic. Just each person knows their specific thing that they need to do, and they just do an excellent job at it. And so, you know, I'm definitely thankful for the crew.
What's up, A, scene 8, take 2. And 3, 2, 1, action.
I was underestimating how awesome Todd would look in his Batman costume, or bat suit, sorry. The first night that we shot with him was on the rooftop. That was from episode 5. It was like the end scene where Jason and Bruce kind of talk about little things that happened, and then Jason opens up the portal and they go through it. When Todd first put his bat suit on and stepped out of the shadows, both Griffin and I were like looking on the camera and we were like, holy crap, it's Batman. Like there were no more, like, I've never had a moment like that, I don't think, in making a film when I legitimately believed that the film was real for a second. When we watched the monitor and he stepped out, it was like, there's Batman. That's Batman. Like I don't see an actor anymore. I don't see any of that. It's like, it's Batman. And so that was just a moment for me that was like, this might be kind of cool. You can roll.
Rolling.
I think it's always a challenge when you travel to just being tired. It takes a physical toll, and you know, when we went to Las Vegas to work with Danny and Jeremy and the guys in Ismahawk, it was like, this is the last trip. I'm so tired. I'm like, so dead. What's up, guys? Behind the scenes, we have just landed. We got to our hotel. We are in Las Vegas, shooting with the dudes, Danny and Jeremy from Ismahawk. We are so crazy excited to be hanging with these guys. But those guys are so cool that we just like, as soon as we got there, I totally forgot about it. It was like, they were just so awesome. The original idea was we were gonna rent out this huge studio, like, and it was really cool. Like, they had this like huge structure built with like a clock in it and stuff like that, and we were gonna rent that out. But when Danny talked to the people, they were like, oh no, we want this much money and this, you know, whole thing, and it ended up not working out, and we didn't have it for these days, and so it ended up being a whole thing. So instead of working in the studio, we actually set up a black backdrop, legit, like I kid you not, in their backyard, and shot in their backyard. Hashtag indie filmmaking. Like, but it turned out incredible. Like, it turned out so good, and it was cool, and it was fun, and you know, working with those guys is a blast, and we can't wait to work with those guys in the future. All right, guys, we had an incredible time hanging here with Danny Shepard and Jeremy Lee from Ismahawk. Such a great season, guys. Thank you so much. If you gave on the Kickstarter, we thank you. You guys are such a blessing to us. And man, to all of our guest stars, to these guys right here, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
I was just an honor.
Thank you for having us. It's no big deal.
No, absolutely. It's an
No big
honor,
deal.
and we can't wait to work with you guys going forward too.
Likewise, man. Thanks again for having us. This was so much fun. Thanks for letting me rock the beard.
Oh, dude.
Bearded Nightwing is bad guy Nightwing. For all you guys are gonna ask in the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Spock in Star Trek.
Well,
Yes, yes, it's like the negative Spock. It's
yeah,
the
I
negative
can
negative Spock.
Yes.
No, we'll just CG the whole beard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta
Yeah,
do that.
CG
You gotta
the
at least
beard.
try. You gotta at least try to CG out the beard.
Yes, we will try to CGI out the beard. Unfortunately, we need to ask you all for another $100 million in order to do that. So,
please.
thank you so much. Thank you for allowing us to keep doing what we do, to keep putting out these characters, to keep giving positive messages, and being able to send encouraging messages to people. We appreciate you. We appreciate every dime, every penny that you guys gave, because this is your hard-earned money, and you guys appreciate us to that level that you would give to see this show continue. And we are so thankful and we are so excited for you not only to watch it and enjoy it, but to see everything that's coming next, because we're doing so many cool things, you guys, and we cannot wait to bring you guys in and involve you and make it a community effort where it's awesome together. So thanks for watching, Robin Army, and we'll see you in the next one.